Are you going to do the same thing today you did yesterday and expect a different result? Change what you think, change what you do, and tomorrow will be different from today. You know why it's so simple for me? Because I have a lot of experience. You can only change your tomorrows by changing yourself today. Right, let's go. Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. The power is within Pabitra. It's been a long time. We did a show last week. I was ready to go, full of energy, and it's here. Next topic is going to be letting yourself go in a long-term relationship. People get in long-term relationships and it falls apart and you wonder why. Usually they're in the other person. You're taking look at yourself. What happens is men become complacent, what they were doing when they got together with the girl, what they were doing, and these are good boys trying to screw them. They're focused on the river. So anyway, and then the guy comes home every night, sits on the couch, and he says, well, I'm going to work, I'm providing for the woman, and all I got to do. He has a couple of kids, gains some weight, you want to take care of the kids, put makeup on, and take care of stuff. And they both become disenchanted. Well, in a breakup or divorce or whatever it happens to be. So we're going to discuss that tonight with my panel of
Claude, I'm 20.
Paul, I'm 15.
Bredo, I'm 15.
Henry, I'm 18.
And he is excited and ready to go. So what do you think, guys? What happens in long-term relationships? Claude, what do you think? Why do people break up? Why is it when they're going out, boy, they're just, I got to fix myself up and I got to look good and got to look sharp. But then after they move in together or they've been going together for 2 or 3 years, it's like, okay, what time are you coming over? I'll be over at 6. What are we going to do? Let's hang out and watch TV.
I feel like it's because they passed the honeymoon stage and then gave up afterwards.
So, what's the honeymoon?
I guess when you go out on dates and it's kind of like when you guys first start dating and everything's like exciting and stuff, and then that ends, and then everything just starts getting boring, and then people start giving up on each other.
It's love stage.
Okay, then what we need to do is how do we maintain the honeymoon? Or can it be maintained?
I think it can, but instead of like after your honeymoon stage, you like stop going out and stuff. I think it's best to like do more exciting things, because if you start dating someone and then you talk all the time over the phone and it kind of leaves nothing for you to do in person, and then if you're going out on dates and then you go out on a whole bunch of dates and not leave any for, I guess, for the rest of your relationship, then it'll just get boring.
Well, one thing I have to add on to that is I don't think you can continue the honeymoon stage, but I think you can continue the excitement in the relationship. So basically say for instance, like you guys are talking nonstop over the phone. Where's the excitement whenever you guys meet up? You already got everything over. But
There's nothing to talk about.
If you're busy, constantly busy, and you don't have 15 hours on your phone, you always have something to talk about whenever you're with him or her. So, I mean, anything.
Yeah, not only that, but there's no excitement, there's no more mystery, because she knows that right after work you're just coming back home.
Yeah.
So you're not going out, so like where's the mystery, where's the excitement?
There's no competition. Mm-hmm. And he's got the thing nailed down and everything, so why should he have to do anything? He's my wife, or she's necessarily a girlfriend. So I don't have to put out any effort. What's he do? He just wants her to come over so he can bang and then he can go home and spend the night or whatever.
Yeah, and then like for women, for example, once they end up having kids, they just don't feel like they need to be looking good for anybody because, well, he's already got the ring in his hand. They already have kids, so Was he like? He's not gonna go out there and try to ruin it all. So why do I feel that I need to look good?
He's the one in the loss if he, if it ever comes to like a breakup.
So what do you think about, okay, the man and woman, they're together for a while and they go out on a date. Do you think it's bad or good if they're out and the waitress comes up there and flirts with the man right in front of his woman?
I think that's good, Then
How could that be good?
yeah, because of the fact that, like you said, you were talking about competition anxiety. That's what keeps women attracted to a man. If he has no other options, he's not attractive.
What do you think about that, Paulina?
I definitely agree because if there's no competition there, it's not exciting. Like, if I'm his only option, like,
nobody else wants him, what do you got?
Exactly. It's just kind of like, it's boring. The relationship is boring.
I think it happens sometimes too when you get into a long-term relationship, whether you're living together or not, you're seeing each other almost every night, or you're texting all the time. It's like, what do you got to talk about? There's nothing new. You know everything about the person. And there's no mystery. There's no excitement. So how do you maintain mystery during LTR? One of the things you talk about, of course, is not being texting all day. When I was growing up, we of course didn't have that. You might not, maybe you've seen her on the weekend, so you might make a phone call during the week, you might not. Just you actually had to go somewhere to see somebody. But you guys can FaceTime somebody. I know a lot of times I think you spend way too much time FaceTime and talking to your boyfriend. Just like, what's the point in getting together? You guys talk, for hours. Hours. What's the longest you've FaceTime?
A guy or a girl? Because I FaceTime my friends. I would say 15 hours.
I fell asleep on FaceTime.
Yeah. It's like, of course, we never had that option, but why do you even want to get together? I guess for the physical intimacy, but it's a hug and kissing, and no more than that, of course.
Yeah, well,
with you.
First of all, I would not want a guy who's always
available.
Yeah.
But it seems like everybody you're going out with is always available.
Yeah. It's really hard to find somebody around here that
who has a life.
Yeah, who actually wants to do something. I don't want to date. I want to be with a guy who knows what he wants, who has goals and desires and stuff like that. But if he just doesn't know what he's doing with his life,
what do you want to do with your life?
If he doesn't,
but you're my desire, you're my everything, and I just can't live without you.
I don't like
if you ever leave me, I end myself.
Yeah, no. I've dated a lot of guys that are more available than occupied. I've dated a couple football guys, and they're probably the closest you'll get to unavailable.
Yeah.
They have practices all the time. In the morning, they have weights. They have actual stuff to do. There's other things like school sports and stuff, but I think football is the one thing that takes up most of a guy's time.
Right.
Around my age, everybody's just available all the time. They want to hang out all the time, and, kids are young. They've hit puberty. Like, everybody just wants to do one thing, and then that's it.
What would that be? Oh, let me guess. Let me see. Oh, they want to play soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, Xbox. They want to play foosball. That's what they want to do. They want to play foosball. I play that. With a girl, right? It ends up with something other than wrestling. That's it. Okay, so any other tips on how to keep long-term relationship exciting?
Okay, here's a good example. Nowadays, a lot of people play football and stuff like that. But even when they play football, they'll text a girl right after practice. It's like me. I never texted people after practice. After practice, I would get dressed and I'd walk home. And it'd take me 10, 20 minutes to walk home from the high school. Then I wouldn't have enough time to text a girl. Right. Plus, I didn't have data, so I wouldn't text them. I would only text them when I got home.
Well, the perfect time for me is right after practice. You can text them and then start your walk and not text them throughout. It's like, why would you be on your phone on the walk? But I think what the best way to keep the mystery up in a relationship is just follow your goals. Like, yeah, football takes up a majority of your time, but it doesn't take up all your time. So find a different hobby.
But she's my goal. She's my everything.
Speaking of goals and stuff, another thing is like, I don't want to be a guy's first priority. I want him to know what he wants to do, and then that be his first priority.
You don't want to be the queen?
Definitely.
You don't want to be treated like a queen or a little princess?
I hate being praised.
I can't believe it.
I do not like being praised. it's just kind of like when they're like, "You're my everything." This. It's like, am I the only girl you've ever spoken to in your life?
I can't live without your love.
Well, most guys nowadays, they don't have their priorities straight. They just
Yeah.
instantly text a girl as soon as they wake up. Good morning, paragraph, lovey-dovey.
Oh my gosh, I hate
I'm
that.
sure you dealt with that.
Whenever
Let me
I've
post
woken
you on
up,
my Instagram and talk about how lucky I am to have you.
MCN, WCW.
I've woken up a couple of times, or actually all the time, and the guy has just sent me a paragraph. Oh, I love you so much, and it's been like to the point where you have to scroll up at least 5 times to get to the top of the page of the paragraph, and it just gets kind of annoying because I don't want to wake up and read that. Like, I'm not in school right now. I don't want to read that. Like, it's way too much.
But he put so much effort into it.
And then I'm tired. So like he probably expects
vulnerable and open with you.
He
Isn't that
probably
what
expects
women want?
something. He probably expects something back when I'm like
Yes.
when he sends me
At least.
something, which
How about
I
some
hate.
kisses and hearts and
I hate that
smiley
so
faces?
much.
The thing is that
Damn, she's cold, isn't she?
Yeah.
The thing is, everything nowadays is handed to you. Everything's too damn easy. There's no hard. There's nothing you have to work for. There's I literally seen this picture where it said it was like the 1980s or 1970s millionaires what's it called, millionaires office, and then the 2022 is millionaires office. It's a kid's room. All he's doing is playing what's it called, Fortnite. He's a millionaire by playing Fortnite. Never had to work for it, but to play several games and try to become the best at it. Sitting on your ass and playing
Well, and
games.
people see that and they think that's what they're going to do. They don't have to put out any effort. But you guys know it's a lot of effort. I mean, I was gone this week for a couple of days, so Henry took over the business and he basically ran the household. And then he realizes how much. How was that for you? Tell us about that.
It was difficult. I mean, as soon as I came home, because me, Frank, and Cole, we do boxing too, so I came home and then I had to clean up the machine and stuff, and then went straight to boxing. After that, I had to do a class, and it's just continuously doing something. Then when you got home, like, man, I don't know how you do it.
And of course, the responsibility you have at work,
Mm-hmm.
making sure everybody's working, the job's getting done correctly, everything's shut down right, everything's straightened up when you leave, getting started. That's a lot of responsibility. But I think social media they always portray the probably half of the 1% who's rich, and they portray the life. They do not show the struggles and the heartaches and the disappointments and the discouragement. All they show is the good stuff. They very seldom ever show, their losses, their failures. And then so people see that and they think success is going to be easy. Success is not for the weak-hearted. Achievement is not for the timid. You have to be brave and courageous, persistent, and persevere to be successful. And back to our topic, that's what happens when a man meets when a woman and a man meet each other. Usually the man has some goals and he's striving for something. What happens after a while, he just kind of gets to come home and he doesn't do anything. He quits going out with his buddies. He quits pushing for new vistas, new goals, stretching and reaching. And then he becomes complacent and she gets bored with it.
Another thing is like the reason why I would like to have a guy who knows what he's going to do with his life, like after school, is because I kind of want to follow them. Like, if I don't know if I don't know what I'm going to do yet with like school or when I get out of high school and they're doing something with their life, I would like to follow them and they'd lead me wherever they go, whatever they're going to do with their life.
Aren't you an empowered woman? Don't you want to go out there and make your mark on the world? That's a man thing. That's what they teach people.
Another thing about like, I feel like social media influences a lot of people to think that it's very easy doing all this stuff. Like how Henry was talking about, everything was just so not complicated, but he didn't know how you do it all the time. I feel like it's on social media, it shows like, oh, this is so easy. I go to work, I do this. Oh, I do this, I do that. It's super easy. So I guess that's why a lot of guys and girls move on too fast in the relationship and then it ends because things aren't going right because social media influenced them to think that it was going to be super easy, but it's not.
Well, I'll tell you something else that happens too, because I've had quite a few long-term relationships. Sometimes a woman will see, she'll see my life and, well, for example, like I traveled to Orlando last week, Mexico this week, and it looks like, man, he's just out there living the life, having fun. but they don't know what I got to do to get to where to be able to have the freedom to be able to do that. So let's say I get together with somebody, this has happened before, and they think, gosh, I want to be part of his life. His life is great. He's successful, exciting. And then they find out that you got to get up every day, do the same thing every day over and over and over again. And there's a price to pay. And then they get like, I don't want to do this. But they want the benefits of that type of lifestyle, which many people do, but they don't want to put out the effort or pay the price. But even traveling is challenging. Like when I went to Orlando, I flew down there, Friday? I had my meeting Saturday morning, went back to the airport, and I flew back. And then when I went to Mexico, I went Tuesday and then came back Thursday. I mean, I had a couple of days there, but traveling was really a challenge, especially I had to take the COVID test on the way back. Didn't know that. I do it at the last minute, and you get delays in the flight. And it's not all exciting and leisurely like a lot of people think. So once again, when people meet, they see each other's lives, but neither one of them really knows what it takes to make. I'd say most of the woman, if she's going after a 1% man or some man that's doing something with his life, she doesn't realize everything he has to do to maintain and to have that lifestyle. A lot of times he may have to be gone for days. There's at the very least, he's gone. I'm gone in the morning and I'm working. You guys know, you see, I'm never sitting around. You might catch me watching what's it called? What's the show I like?
Ray Donovan.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Ray Donovan. Yeah, and I may watch him for 15 or 20 minutes a night before I go to bed or sometime, but other than that, I don't watch TV. And the reason I watch him, there's a purpose there, because I like certain characteristics of the person he plays, and I model them. So there's usually a reason besides entertainment to everything I'm doing. So I'm always doing something. So what happens when a woman becomes involved with a guy like me is I've had them actually tell me, why don't you stay home, Dave? Don't go to work? But yet they want the lifestyle that I provide for them by being busy. I don't know how many hours a week I work, 50, 60, 70, or 80, whatever it is. But then they don't understand that, hey, if I don't do this, we can't do these things. We can't travel. We can't have this house. We can't have all these luxuries. So there's a price to pay for that. And they don't understand that. But in the reverse side, if you get a woman that supports a man that does have a vision, that does put in those kinds of hours, then actually he can accomplish more in less time because he has her support. If she is an asset to him instead of a liability. But they both have to work together. What I see nowadays is so many men, you got the incels and MGTOWs, and people are nothing against those guys. Everybody has a choice. But turning against women because they think there's something wrong with them. But it's always been some women can support you and encourage you, and there's some women that will drag you down. But are you the type of man that a woman wants to support? And you have to vet and try to be very careful before you become emotionally involved with a girl, because I've done that, and find out what she's like. Is she going to be an asset to you or a liability? And as far as the woman goes, she needs to find out, is this guy going to be a protector and a provider, or is he going to be just a loser and somebody that I'm going to pick up or try to encourage, or he wants to come home and cry on my shoulder every time something doesn't go right? Because a woman doesn't want that, correct?
Yeah.
Well, one thing I want to add on about struggle, say for instance, like the older generation, whenever y'all had phones, y'all had to like pay to text or something, like pay to call.
We didn't have text; you had to pay to call.
Yeah, pay to call.
Telephone, yeah.
That's what I definitely think like we should bring back. It's like
I remember
people are always on their phones texting, but if we added those like rates, like I don't know what they call them, fee rates.
Well, back when I was a kid, I had to go to a phone booth and have some quarters and call somebody. It was dark at night. Sometimes they had a light, and I had to call a girl if I wanted to talk to her.
Yeah, but if like say for instance we brought that back, people would be off their phones more often because it's
yeah, it's so easy. I mean, I would have never dreamed when I was a kid. I could take my phone right now, and I got a friend in Colombia. I could call her up and FaceTime and look at her and talk to her just like that. Back when I went out with a girl in Guatemala, 20 years ago, 1999, to make a phone call, I had to call her. She had to be at the telephone uptown, and it cost like $5 a minute. We did that once a week. And now I can call anybody anywhere in the world. Almost everybody has a cell phone, and look at them and talk to them like this for free.
Yeah, that's why talking to somebody over the phone and all that. And Redo's right. You should bring payphones back because
When I say payphones, just like rates to text.
the thing is that like now it's so easy to text someone and it's so easy to FaceTime someone that they don't want to meet up. They already know what you look like. They already know how you are. So what's the whole point of meeting up if it's like, oh, I already know how you're like. Well, you don't know how I'm like in person. And people can play off that persona for a long time until you guys meet up in person.
But say for instance, you didn't have that. You would have the mystery, like, what is this person like?
What are they going to be like when I meet them?
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's more important for the girl, Pauline, you can verify this, than it is for the guy. I mean, the girl wants to at least have some kind of something, but she wants to discover him over a period of time. She doesn't want the guy to. I know some guys make the mistake. They'll come up to, oh well, I work here and I do this and I do that, and I went out with this other girl 5 years, and they tell them their whole life story.
You kind of got to let the girl ask the questions to see what the girl wants to know. Like, she could say something so simple and you can make a conversation out of that, and it could last for a while.
Or you could
be vice versa too.
Well, or you could talk to a girl and the girls like talking about more than anything themselves. And
a woman should do 75 or 70% of the talking, and a man should do 20. She does 75% of the talking, and he does that much listening, and he does 25% of the talking. Men should be listening most of the time, 75% of the time, and discovering about her and allowing her to talk, and you can find out about her. Many guys are worried about what they're going to talk about, but they don't have to talk that much. Like Paulina said, all you have to do is if they have an interest in you at all, and if they're going out with you or you're meeting, they do. So you just ask them questions about yourselves, not in an interrogatory way. You just ask them what they like or where you're from. Anything. It doesn't, did you see that? What do you think about Johnny Depp? Or what, did you see that trial? Or do you think she's a liar? What it doesn't, it's just, you really just have to listen to what the girl says, and she will give you clues of what you want to talk about, and then you can ask that. Like, if you ask her if she likes the beach, oh yeah, I used to live in Florida. She might say, oh, where was you at down there? What did you like about it? Or, I don't know. I have no problem talking to anybody. So for me to create it, I just allow it to flow out. But most guys are apprehensive, and they think, oh, well, if I say that, is she going to like it? You just got to blurt it out. That's why guys, when they have a couple drinks, they can talk to girls because they're not worried about what they're going to say. Whatever pops in their head, they say it. And you just need to do that when you're sober and not be afraid. So what if you say something stupid? So what? What's the matter?
Another thing is like I said, a girl could say something so simple and you can make a conversation out of it and it could last for a while. But if you guys are talking and she's clearly just being like, oh yeah, I did.
One word answer.
Yeah, I lived there.
Yeah.
Yep. Then she's obviously not interested in you, and that's when the guy needs to step up and either be like, if you don't want me to be here, not like want me to be here, but like get up and leave. If she's obviously not interested in him, not to like continue and be like, what's wrong? Is it okay?
Or even better, up your game. Up it up.
Yeah. A game is probably the most important thing for guys, I think, because too many guys out there think if you're not good looking, that you can't pick up girls. And I know we've all seen guys that aren't that good looking, but they got game. And game is no more. It's not a manipulative thing. Game is just the ability to converse with the woman in a comfortable way.
What's the quote for looks? Looks only get you a foot in the door.
Yeah, looks only get your foot in the door. That's what I think, and that's true. Once you get that foot in the door, Paulina, if you don't have something inside, you'll turn them off right away. Correct or no?
That's correct.
You've met some good-looking guys, and tell me about a good-looking guy you met. And as soon as he opened his mouth, you're like, oh.
There was a guy that I met maybe 2 months ago or something, and he started hanging out here, and I really thought he was cute.
Is that the guy over there? When I walked over there at the mall park, tall guy.
Oh,
was it him?
He's one of them. Yeah.
Oh, he's one of them. Okay.
The guy that started hanging out around here, he came over like once maybe, and I thought he was really cute, and then I talked to him, and the minute he started talking, I was like, oh. And it wasn't anything with his voice, it was just he talked in a certain way when he said things like, I don't know, say he'd be explaining something, he'd be like, oh yeah, one time, I can't even remember, and he would like carry it out for such a long time, and he would slur his words.
Just get to the point.
Yeah, and he would slur his words all the time, and I'm just kind of like, I can barely understand what you're saying right now. Like, I really can barely understand what you're saying, but I thought he was cute, and then we started having a real conversation, and then it kind of gave me secondhand embarrassment, and it was just
Go ahead. I'm going to get someone's attention back there on the cameras, but it's not sounding. Any opportunities? Go ahead, Polly. Continue. He's like in the nose. I think you are that guy. All right.
But yeah, it's happened a lot. There's been a lot of guys that I thought were cute, and then I hung out with them or something, and the minute that they just started talking, it kind of just made me be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, when she explained it to me, I got secondhand embarrassment from that.
He knows who it is, but
got the cringe feeling.
Yeah, but it's kind of like Claude said, up your game. When I talk to guys and they can't say one sentence without slurring their words or saying something that I literally cannot understand.
You're so beautiful.
I have that problem.
You're so beautiful. I've never met anybody.
What's your favorite outfit?
Like, yeah, like I'll literally be talking to them and it just sounds like they're mumbling, and I just.
So you see that as a lack of confidence. You guys in the audience need to listen to this because she's 15. It don't matter whether 15, 25, or 35. It's the same. I've met a lot of women, been with a lot of women. They all think the same. This is the same. Any woman, I don't care how old they are, they all basically think the same when it comes to guys. So what is that when they slur? How do you see this? Is that a lack of confidence, or
I feel like
are they just nervous? Or
I feel like when this person that I met, when they slur their words and stuff, it's kind of like I think they're too cocky to the point where like it's really hard to.
Hey, would you rather them be cocky or? I don't know why, but I'd like to take you out if you'd like to go with me.
I'd rather them be cocky, but some people are like
But are they really cocky, or do you think they're just trying to cover?
I feel like they're trying to put up an act.
Okay, well then that's not the same.
Yeah, I know. So like what they do is they're cocky, but they make themselves overly cocky by trying to cover up the fact that they're nervous or something, and they're trying to hide something. But it's like being over, like there's a difference between being cocky and a girl being attracted to it, and being overly cocky trying to hide your real
cover
personality.
Up your low self-worth. Yeah.
So it's like, for me, if a guy's doing that, it's kind of just like, okay, I can tell, I can read a person very easily. So
yes,
like
women are very intuitive
by their movements or their feet tapping or they're fidgeting with something. Like I can tell if someone is nervous or not. So when I see that from a guy like fidgeting or shaking his leg or doing something, it just kind of makes me think like, is he going to be like this all the time? Nervous all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say is, so I have this buddy, and I guess he's like so comfortable with talking to girls over the phone that he hasn't really gone out there and tried to like actually say what's up to a girl. He doesn't.
When you say talking over the phone, do you mean texting or do you actually verbally talking?
He won't. I mean, all right. For starters, it'll be text, and then he'll get comfortable enough where he'll FaceTime them.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, a little bit. But one time I was at the pool with him, and I was at the pool with Frank, and I guess he's not the kind of person to just walk up to a girl and just talk to them face to face, even if he doesn't know them. Well, me and Brandon are telling him he thought this girl was cute, so we were like, "Yo, go say what's up to her. Like, go ask for her Snapchat." And this and that. And he's like, "Oh no," he's like, he was just giving all types of excuses. So Frank decided to step up, and he said what's up to her, and Frank ended up talking to her and all that. And instead of Cameron standing up and trying to test his game out, even if
don't use names.
Oh yeah, instead of him trying to, like, what's it called?
Callahan, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Callahan. Okay. Instead
of him trying to like step up his game and saying what's up, Frank was the one that stood up and said something. Frank ain't scared of rejection. He doesn't care. He don't care.
Yeah, because it happens all the time.
Hey, well, that's how you get. That's how you get.
Cameraman, that's a sound effect right there.
Yeah, come on, man. What you be sleeping back here with?
Well, I feel like now in like my grade or maybe a couple of grades above me, I feel like I feel like I'm more likely to walk up to a guy than for him to walk up to me. Like, I feel like I'm more likely to be up and be like, hey, do you have a girlfriend, instead of him coming over there and talking to me.
That's most certainly facts.
I had this one.
That is most certainly facts.
I've had one guy, maybe in the past, and actually probably my whole life, walk up to me in Walmart and ask for my Snap. That was like the only time somebody has walked up without any of his friends around.
How did you feel about that? That's great. Okay.
At the time, I had a boyfriend, so I told him no. But it felt a lot better knowing that some guys, not very likely,
he had a pair big enough to come up.
Yeah, some guys are like can actually do that now.
And you guys just do it. I mean, girls actually appreciate that, even if they turn you down. It may not have anything to do with you. The fact that because most men, guys, men, young men are so afraid to walk up and ask a girl for a number or say, hey, let's have a coffee or whatever. Just go up and start talking to her. And it's really easy to do. The only thing that stops you is your fears. And that's all just bullshit thinking. It's all in your mind.
Yeah, whenever but
It's some difficulties here outside our control. It's the internet provider, I suppose. But back to the long-term relationship. So, Paulina, let's say you're seeing a guy for a couple months, and what are some cues that you know the clock is ticking and it's coming to an end? What's going on? What's happening?
not
Because the girl usually knows before the guy does.
Making up excuses on not why you can't hang out, or
he's making up, or what?
Well, I don't know exactly what you mean. Like, on whose side?
Okay.
How would you know your relationship's about to end?
Yeah, and you're starting to think, do I really want to be here? What's going on?
When I start noticing myself making excuses to not hang out, when I notice
what is he doing? That usually some examples of why you would start to think, do I really want to be with this guy?
Probably, like I've said before, being too lovey-dovey, praising me, or
too available
too available, way too available,
always there.
Yeah, wanting to hang out every single day, or texting me every single second, responding super quick. It's like, it's just kind of like, it's kind of like I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be like around.
I know and I didn't know that. As you guys know, I didn't know anything about texting, social media, none of that as far as dating went. And I made the mistake of always being there and being available because in business, if somebody sends me a message, I respond right away. But so I did that, and I see how much it would turn off if it was, because on the reverse of that, I was talking to someone from another country, and this was a man. We were talking about the business or something. And it's like every time he'd send me these long messages, it's like, oh, geez. And I'm like, I got to take 5 minutes out to these voices. And then I understood how annoying it was. And two, I'd send my message. As soon as I did, he'd open it up.
Yeah.
And then I realized why, when I was doing it with someone else, why they became annoyed with it. I didn't know before, but then I understood why. Because I was not familiar with that type of communication.
Another thing is like when a guy sends me a big paragraph or something, I skim through it. I just skim and read some words.
I've made mistakes of sending paragraphs.
Yeah, I just kind of skim through it because I really don't want to read all of it. And if it's just a paragraph every single day, it's just going to say the same thing. So there's really no reason. Yeah. So I'll skim through it and sit there for maybe 2 minutes, so it seems like I read it, and then I'll respond.
You guys need to listen to this too, because this is the way women think when you're texting. So you need to be a little less available. She sends you a message, wait 10 minutes or 15 if you're communicating. Wait, and if she's ghosted you for a day and she messaged you, don't answer right away. She doesn't want you to answer right away. She wants to wonder about you. Give her the gift of missing.
Yeah, another thing is like with with dating somebody, say like me and that person are in an argument. I feel like if the guy in a way acts like he doesn't care, but like, 'cause I don't want a guy to be completely like, oh, I don't care, like I do not care. But if he kind of shows a little bit that he doesn't care as much as he is trying to say, I feel like the girl will be like, well, why aren't you talking to me? Like, why do you keep leaving me on red? Or if like, because I've ended things with a guy before and he just kept texting me saying, can we just please get back together? But if he acted like he didn't care, I would run.
Here it is, the truth from the horse's mouth, you guys. Listen to this, because I've experienced this. This is true.
Yeah, whenever like I'm talking to a guy or if I end things with him and he just is begging for me to stay, it's like
you gotta have a sound effect for this one.
It's like you kind of are making me not want to leave more. Like you're making me not want to chase you. But if a guy is like, oh, I don't really care.
Guys have the illusion of action. They think if they just do something else, she's gonna. Oh yes, you're right. I'm coming back.
Yeah,
And the opposite is true.
I've dated a guy, and when I ended things with him, he acted like he didn't care, and he wouldn't talk to me for a day. And the next day, I was like freaking out. I was like, "What did I just do?" Like he obviously doesn't care about me.
A day.
Yeah.
So the no contact for a day.
Even like maybe 3 or 4 hours, if he's not talking to me and he is acting like he doesn't care, I will start freaking out. But if the guy is sitting there like, can we please just try again? Can we just do it one more time? Like, I promise I'll change, or we can change. We can do this together. It's like, I love your enthusiasm, but it's a little bit too much.
But what you would really want him to do, if in all honesty, was to be the guy that you met that you liked, right?
Yeah.
Not to change, because and I have to wonder, was he we presented, because a lot of times guys will bitch and complain about a girl and, oh, well, she's been out with these guys and she acts like she was this or that, but then the guy does the same thing. He presents his false self. You think he's a strong, cocky guy and sure of himself, but then after you get to know him, you find out he's kind of weak and mushy, and it's like false representation. What do they call that? What is it? When they advertise something for sale.
Misinformation.
Yeah, they advertise something for sale, and then they don't have bait and switch. That's what it is. So a guy comes. That's why I don't believe in the game as far as people having these lines and different things, and they come off as a certain person. Even if if you just want to get laid, I guess that's fine. But still, it's like presenting it's like false advertisement, because she's going to find out what you're like. So if you're not this person you present yourself, and she's going to find out pretty quick. And then they're both this, she's disappointed, you get her. So you don't accomplish nothing by this. What they say about be your real self, just be yourself. There's a lot of truth in that, but if you're not the self that girls are attracted to, you just need to become the self that girls want to be with. Because they're eventually going to find out what your true self is. So no matter what techniques or game you have, if it's not really who you are, it isn't going to work. So you have to change the inner man. You got to be the man that all men want to be like, and the man that all women want to be.
It's like clickbait.
Yeah, it's like clickbait. You're just trying to get in there, but once you get in there, you're not what you.
Yeah, it's like you'll look at a thing on Instagram or you'll look at something on YouTube and say, "Wow, look at this big explosion." There'll be like an explosion from like a nuke, and then you go to watch the video. 30, 40 minutes pass, and the explosion's like, oh, what a boom.
Yeah, one other thing is like, it's kind of got like me finding a guy has kind of gotten to the point where if I see him, I know I'm gonna have to be the one to walk up to him, which is kind of how I meet everybody, because no one around here.
But now, do you walk up to him and say something, or do you just walk up and put yourself in his vicinity so he can talk? Because I find girls do that a lot. If a girl likes you, she'll walk past you, or she'll come get close to you, give you an opportunity to say something.
Yeah, I went to this thing for a choir concert, and I met this guy there, and I was with my friend at the time, like my best friend, and he was hanging out with his friend and then this girl that my friend knows. So I told my friend, I was like, hey, walk up to your friend so I can be around him. So I was around him and he ended up talking to me. But it kind of happened because he was walking by me at one point and his eyes caught my eye. I like the color of his eyes, and I said something. I was like, hey, your eyes are really pretty. And he was like, thanks, walked away. Then towards the end, I put myself like kind of around him, and he just kind of started a conversation. And it was like a really good conversation. We were talking. We weren't on our phones the whole time. Like we had like a good conversation. It kind of went on for, I'd say, 10, 15 minutes. And then we added each other on Snapchat. And,
and that's something else, guys. If a girl compliments you, she's interested in you. You don't care what she compliments you on. If she compliments you, or if she puts herself in your vicinity, or if she looks at you and looks away, it's up to you to do something. Now, she may not go out with you, or she may not give you a number, but she's definitely interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't. He would. At the time, he was kind of playing like hard to get, so that's why I kept going after him, because he was very mellow. Like, he didn't care. He was calm. Right. He was very like, when I complimented his eyes, he was like, oh my God, she just complimented me. He was like, thanks. And then he walked away. Right. And I was just kind of like, I just want to talk to you. Like, let me talk to you. And then we saw each other again and continued to talk. And
see, so we're talking about this. This is how it is when people meet each other. And of course, you can't do that every time you come home at night, but when you're in a long-term relationship, these things usually end. But you have to implement other things. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you coming home. And, for example, if you were living with a guy, or you were married to a guy, and he came home, you may say something to him, but I really appreciate how hard you worked. You show appreciation. Maybe you wear a makeup on and be fixed up for him when you come home, and he'd see how good you look. So maybe you're looking good. I mean, what happens is we quit doing these things when we get in a long-term relationship. Even if we're not married, if we're seeing a girl 3 or 4 times a week, we don't dress the same. We don't do the same. I always say this: if you're going out with a girl, let's say you've been going with her for a year or two. I mean, she's over at your house. Do you ever come in the bathroom with you when you take a shit? No, I mean, maybe you do. Some guys get that comfortable. You sure as hell wouldn't have did that on the first date. Now that familiarity breeds contempt. So I don't think
there's a few things on TikTok about like couples going to the bathroom together and
yeah, I
don't want to explain to them.
Basically, what it is like the girl would go into the bathroom and use the restroom, go number 2, and the guy would sit there and talk to her. Well, maybe
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where she holds it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a joke and something fun. I could see him doing that, but are you sitting there when one of you is doing a number 2?
No, they take it into a serious matter.
They take it into a very serious
they've made it a meme to where it's so serious.
But it also kind of grosses me out, because then I think about that. I would not want to be that close to somebody.
The question is, would you have did that on the first date? If not, you don't need to be doing it 2 or 3 weeks later. I mean, you take all the mystery out, and there's so much familiarity that there's no, like you said, a guy who walks away, that makes you interested because you're wondering about him.
Yeah, and then when I was talking to the guy that I had met at my concert, the same guy that I complimented, he seemed very mysterious. Like, there was something about him that I was very interested in, but I couldn't figure out what it was. So it made me want to talk to him more. Yeah. And that mystery is still going on. There's still something about him, right. And it's being dragged along, which I think also helps a relationship to continue to, last for a while, because there's something there that I don't want him to unfold himself. Right. I don't want a guy to spill his feelings or unfold or talk about his whole life. So when I had met this guy and I realized that he had his guard up in a way, it made me more interested in him, made me want to get to know him more. Yeah. And it's still going on. His guard is still up. There's obviously stuff that I'm not being told, which is good, because it's continuing the relationship. It's not boring. Because around this time, because we've been talking for a while, around this time I'd get bored with another guy, because there's no mystery there. It just kind of gets okay, whatever.
James Bond energy.
But then it's like it just kind of gets boring, and I just don't want to.
So in your relationships, what percentage of the time does the guy tell you he loves you first? See, that's a no-no. Never tell the girl. You tell the girl you love her after she says she loves you.
Yeah, I've almost, I think every time I have told the guy, I haven't told the guy that I love him. He's always been the first one to say it.
Really?
And it'll be like 2 weeks into the relationship.
I think that's just
That's fake.
It's just a obvious state of our nation of young men being feminized and don't know how to act like a man. Not that there's anything wrong with a man telling a girl that he loves her, but I think they're doing it more just to try to get close to you or something. So,
Well, also media. I mean, it pretty much. The media has also, like, social media. It's influenced kids to, like, just be straight up with their one, which is like necessarily it's a good thing. But whenever it comes to you saying "I love you" every 2 hours, it's a problem.
I think they're doing it because they want to hear it back.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they just need that validation or from a female, or I mean, maybe a female needs it too. But it's a problem whenever you say it constantly, and then lost my train of thought.
I mean, sometimes I'll talk to a girl and they'll be like, "I miss you," and I was like, "I bet." I'll be like, "I know." I was like, "I know you do."
I used to say when they'd say "I love you," I'd say "Thank you." That pissed them off.
It's like you don't need to worry about whether I miss you or not.
Yeah, a lot of guys that have
don't.
complimented me have also, they'd be like, "Oh, you're cute," and I'd usually be like, "I know," because I'm not gonna sit around and be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much," because girls get a lot of validation. I am one of those girls. A lot of guys validate me every single day. So when a guy is just calling me cute 24/7, it's like you realize I can go. You realize I can go get that from 50 other guys.
I hear it all the time.
Ooh, look at you.
I post one thing on my story, and everybody slides up and says something. Say like I'm single, and everybody slides up and says something. There's always one that stands out.
So what if some dude was like, "You're cute, but like you're kind of mid"?
Well, hold on. Then this would be perfect for the topic. So say if you do post one of those, what is the best thing that catches your attention, or what's the best comment that catches your attention?
When a guy compliments my eyes. A lot of guys don't do that to girls, especially if they
Your
have
eyes look like pools.
a lot of
I want to dive into
a lot of guys
the
don't.
abyss of your heart.
A lot of guys don't compliment girls with like brown eyes. Like,
so say if a dude slides up and he's like, I find your eyes really attractive.
Oh yeah,
would that catch your attention?
Yeah, that would catch
your attention.
So what do you think? What do you think? So is it just the small details for women that they catch? Like I like your shoes. I like your outfit.
Yeah, I think it's little things because if you're just like, because if you point something out, it catches my eye. But,
like your nose.
But if you're just like
your nostrils.
I'm Voldemort, bro.
I like the way they flare in the moonlight.
If it's just like you're cute, it's like okay.
I've heard that
what
before.
about me is cute? Like you're not. But if a guy is complimenting my eyes or something, I'm just like it kind of stands out to me. Yeah.
I'm doing my camera shakes.
Violence.
Tell us your dad.
You're gonna be that guy if you don't get on the stick. Pay attention. All right, we'll do the show without Frank. All right, so we're getting some good information here from the horse's mouth, my daughter. Tell you what you should and shouldn't do. Most guys don't know what the hell to do, correct?
Yeah, that's a lot of guys just don't know what they're doing.
They don't have a clue.
And then how do you get girls that way? A lot of guys actually surprise me how they get girls because they'll compliment me and I'll just be like, okay, cool, don't care, don't like you. And then they'll pull somebody and I'm like, she must be desperate because the way that you, like a guy will compliment me 1 week and the next he'll have a girlfriend. Like he'll be like, oh, I want to have a relationship with you. And then he'll have a girlfriend. I'm like, how does that work? Because I wasn't even interested in you, so she must be desperate for someone like you.
He wanted you to throw him a bone.
And how many guys have asked you to to be their girlfriend before you ask them to be your boyfriend, because it's best if you allow the girl, because girls are relationship oriented, to let the girl bring up the part about being exclusive.
I've had maybe 2 or 3 guys ask me to be their girlfriend first.
Oh, so most of the time you're the one who asks. Okay, that's good.
But it's also like it's never really them asking, but it also is at the same time they're kind of like, be my girlfriend. They kind of just say, be my girlfriend. I'm like, I'm being forced in a relationship that I don't even want.
What's the best way some guys ever ask you to go out? I mean,
I've never really been asked in a great way, so I don't know.
What's the worst way?
One of them is probably what I just said is be my girlfriend, or if
they walked up to you right away and said,
no, they texted me. That's the worst way to ask for girls, over text or over a phone call.
So are you more impressed with the guy if he calls you and starts talking to you, or if he texts you? What makes you feel more attractive? What does it matter?
I don't really think it matters. I mean, I don't like spending a whole bunch of time on the phone because then I run out of things to talk about.
No, but I mean, I'm saying if he called you up and said, hey, I'd like to get together with you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
If he called me, it would be better than texting me. I would find more attraction to him calling me. Does
that show you he's a little more confident?
Yeah. Since we're not around each other, then yeah. But I mean, there's been maybe one guy who's walked up to me and is like, "Oh, hey, do you want to hang out sometime?" But it's been a friend.
See, it's always best if a guy says, "Hey, do you want to hang out tomorrow at 2 o'clock?"
Yeah.
Rather than say, "Sometime, would you like to get together with me sometime?"
Yeah. A lot of guys text me and they're like, "Do you want to go hang out? Do you want me to pick you up?" And then sometimes I'm kind of like, "No," because you're picking me up, but it's 12 a.m. Why are you picking me up this late? A lot of guys text girls after everybody else is asleep. If a guy texts girls after maybe 11 p.m., if he doesn't text you all day and he texts you at 11 or something, and then after 11 or something like that, it's clear he has no interest in actually being with you. So he's just trying to get something.
Something. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're aware of that. I'm trouble with that. You just wasn't.
You got something to say?
You vast experience. You had a long-term relationship lasting how long? 2 years? 3 years. 3 years. 3 years, and he's got all this experience, and he's just too tired to tell us about it.
Okay, so yeah, please. So pretty much when I was in the relationship for 3 years.
Now you have accepted the kids. Go ahead.
When we were together for the first few months, and then we went through the honeymoon stage and everything like that. And we were together for a year, and it was cool. And between the year, between the second year and the third year, I started drinking a bunch, and I drank mainly twisted tea and stuff like that. So I started getting pretty chunky and started getting
fat. Come on, let's call it what it is.
Yeah, I was getting pretty fat. But then oh, I can't remember. Oh, after the third year, we ended up breaking up because she was being mad. Get out of my house, and she wouldn't leave. So Dad had to tell her. I've said this on multiple podcasts before, but
how did it get to that point?
I mean, obviously I did some, but
you were trying to play the Xbox or watch TV.
Well, it was.
Over the period.
Yeah, but I don't I guess just letting little things go. I didn't even realize. I can't even think of anything specifically because it's been such a long time. But then after we broke up, man, after 3 months, she was looking right. She was looking good, just slim. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, so, dang, this was long.
It's a long one. Okay, cut it off.
But anyway, we got back together again for a year. And then we broke up again. And then, I'm starting to look good because, I started boxing. I was lifting weights. And then I lost all that fat that I had from
you became complacent and soft.
Yeah, but
that's a common thing. It happens to a lot of us. It's happened to me.
Mm-hmm. But now that I actually have something to focus on, me and her hang out all the time, and it's pretty fun. I have a good time. We don't hang out too often, but But yeah.
I think we lose respect for ourselves because we're not fulfilling our purpose here. And then, of course, naturally, a woman loses respect for us too. It's a twofold thing. And we are supposed to be the leaders in the relationship, and girls, contrary to what they say and contrary to what the social narrative is, they really don't want to lead. And they say they do, but I'm not saying there are outliers, there are exceptions to the rule, but in general, they want the man to lead. They don't want to make the big decision. So if you're not doing it, it falls off on them, and they're going to go look for somebody who will make the decision, someone who will lead.
This podcast is coming to the end, so I might as well ask Pauline another question. What are the biggest mood killers whenever you're hanging out with a guy you like?
That was good. Yeah, probably a guy clearly only wanting to do sexual, or playing the video game the whole time.
Oh.
That is 100% a mood killer.
I've seen Frank do that. He's like girls over here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a little different with Frank because he does his moves and stuff like that.
Multitask.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I play video games and plays the game.
Yeah. He's really good at it.
I played 2 games that one.
Yeah.
No, literally, I've been in the room with him. He can multitask like a mofo.
Yeah.
And he can make like a video game that I find actually really annoying and boring. He can make that seem very interesting to a girl that he's talking to.
Mm-hmm.
He can 100% make that interesting. Even if the girl's like, "Ew, that's weird," he can find a way to make it seem like it's
Well,
a
the
good
apple
thing.
doesn't fall far from
Yeah.
the tree, boys. Pat myself on the back. Got something from the old man anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been at about an hour here, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll make some chicken. Check out my books on Amazon. Coming Back Home: The True Adventure of Mark Daniels and The Power Is Within. Both of those books will be very helpful to you. Check out my website at marksinspirationalguidance.com. I'm going to do a shout out to RP Thor. We are doing a show tomorrow night. I can't remember, but I posted it on my YouTube channel and my Instagram, Mark's Inspiration. And we'll be on that panel tomorrow night with RP Thor. We'll have a good show. Got a lot of good guys on there. A lot of wisdom.
Sorry about that.
A lot of wisdom for you guys. Check it out, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there. Take care. Thanks for joining.